Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Elliot and this is Aspen Offroad. So we started Aspen Offroad because we both own Mavericks. It was kind of a long road for us to get here. We originally had started the dirt bike thing. My partner Bill, we'll have a whole nother video with him and his machine, Aspen 2.5, the red XRS Smart Shocks Turbo RR model. Originally wanted to get back into dirt biking. He was told he was too old by his wife. I tell him that all the time too, but it seemed to strike home a little bit more with the decision maker. So he was not allowed to do that. He was told to seek something with 4 wheels. Bill is actually the reason we came up with Mavericks. He actually did a lot of the research in the get-go. I'm not sure that he picked these for any terrific reason at first, other than their looks and their speed. I don't know that he was attracted to even it being a turbo per se, but once we got here and then I got involved in the decision-making process, this became a no-brainer. We were basically debating between these and Polaris's, their turbo models, and this was all late 21. We were originally going to get brand new 22s, and between COVID and chip shortages, that just wasn't possible. So we ended up giving up hope on getting a new one. We had deposits on 22 models. We wanted some of their features. Later, 6 months into this, we decided it wasn't a deal breaker. And as opposed to waiting for another who knows how long to actually take delivery of 22 models, after some hunting, we had found mine first, believe it or not, the blue one here, Aspen 3.1, which is a 21 Maverick Turbo R DS model. And then within a week later, we found his. So since Bill isn't here and neither is his Maverick, Aspen 2.5, I'm gonna go into a little bit about mine, what was already done to it when I purchased it, parts and modifications, what I've done to it.
But I'll go over a lot of what came with it. I picked this model. In this particular one, it was really well taken care of. The person did not seem to do a lot of hard off-roading on it. It was very clean when I got it. It did have a few underlying issues I wasn't happy to find later, mostly related to loose hardware. I don't know if that was poor maintenance at some point in time, not highly skilled, or if that was just a function of this thing being used, and sometimes the hardware on these does have a tendency to loosen up. It's kind of a hard service. And if you don't do things the way they really need to be done, it's pretty easy to do. So this came with the TMW brace up front. It does have a CT Raceworks, the hidden bumper. They did a good job and even got it body color. It's got a rough country winch on it with synthetic rope. It originally had the springs on it, factory springs, which were garbage. They were already starting to bottom out and lose, starting to sag basically. I've since replaced those with some lovely shock therapy pieces front and rear. Those are custom to this machine, my riding, and this machine's weight. Same time I did those, I also put on their bump steer delete kit up front, which you can see down there. It came with this nice curved windshield. I do like this a little bit better, and it looks better to me than the one that's on 2.5. They're both Can-Am pieces, but this one is curved with the inlets on it as opposed to a flat piece of Lexan. Just think it's a little bit better done. Came with these nice X3 brackets up here and this curved light bar. We haven't got to do much night riding. The one place we had the opportunity to do it at Windrock, we kind of chickened out. We only had 4 days up there. We hadn't really planned for night operations, and we were still just getting used to these, and we opted to not to. So it did come with these nice metal doors from Super ATV. The 4-point harnesses, it does still have the factory other harnesses in there. I haven't taken those out. As you can tell, the Lone Star Racing rock kickers, as you'll see in some of the videos in here, they got worked on a little bit while we were up at Windrock. They still need to get down a little bit the rest of the way. It came with these wheels and tires, the Raceline wheels, BF Goodrich Mud Terrains, or the KM3s. They did great at Windrock. They're not the greatest in the mud, but they seem to do pretty well as long as you keep them spinning. They have a little bit of trouble. 2.5 has some XTR 370s on it, which are a lot like the Maxxis Carnivores. I don't know if those things are just really soft tires or if that open tread pattern is just really that much better. But they really do have a little bit of a hard time keeping up with that one in the mud. So front and rear, if you didn't notice, the Shock Therapy sway bar links, I haven't had any issues out of those. They're still loose. They clean up great. The Teflon lined Heim joints, they work great. The rock blocks, we haven't had any major issues with rocks. Those probably have something to do with it. It did come with these ZRP arms in the back, Heim joints, and the TMW brace at the back. I've since put on Shock Therapy's toe link support, their TLS. I put back there just before we went to Windrock. I didn't want to have any issues, especially since the links were so strong that was now the issue and causing something. I'll probably do another video covering the recovery gear, but we have had really good luck with these soft shackles. Those are Rhinos. They don't really have a whole lot of points to hook up to, and that just really prevents you from, just absolutely marking something up, tearing something, metal. If they break, at least there's nothing heavy flying at you. It did come with this nice Can-Am cooler. I use it as both a cooler and a dry storage. Not the biggest fan for it, I don't know why we couldn't do the rest of that space. It came with 2 whips, identical to this. They were clipped on back here. They're not 5150 whips by any stretch of the imagination. They were fairly okay. They did all sorts of patterns and they were nice for that. But as far as visibility concerns go, we did some testing out at Osceola in the dust, and they might as well not have been there. So what we have since added is just a single rear chase light. I have done some tuning on the springs as far as adjusting where their crossover point is. Shock Therapy was great about that. After I bought the springs, they were able to offer me some guidance on their maximum and minimums, stuff they don't usually publish. I reached out to them directly, and they were great getting me set up, and that has been a world of difference to recover all that lost ride height. As I say, you get 4-point harnesses. I have some mixed emotions about these. So I like the 4-point harnesses. It comes back to what I'm used to in the racing world. Once you're strapped in, you're strapped in. They snug down, they don't move. There's no catch, there's no latch, there's no nothing. Once it's buckled, it's over. As opposed to the factory 4-points, which are retractable. They're a little easier to get in and out of. In fact, I'll go as far to say as they're a lot easier. However, I don't think they're as secure. These kind of are a pain in the butt to get in and out of. But on the whole, when you cinch them down, they really don't go anywhere. It did come with some extra switches. We got rock lights, creative with the don't shoot for the whips, which I now use for the chase light anyways, and then the landing light you see over there for the light bar. It did come with this nice center console. Get the key out of the way here. So there's the 12-volt port back there. You do need to be careful which charger you use to actually get full voltage out of this. I have an Android tablet that I use for navigation that fits right there. This actually tightens down on it, and it moves over enough that I can use that for navigation. The passenger can also see it. When it stays plugged in, it's got enough life or enough battery that it can still charge and leave the screen on. And something like that can really be a huge upgrade. More than you know. Before this, I was using my phone. I'd have to stop when we got to intersections and look down. And I could have just as easily put a phone mount somewhere. That was already there. So I decided to just upgrade to a tablet. And that has made life so easy. Came with the center console bag. It gets a little warm in there. Nothing too bad. I've added some reflective tape, heat reflective tape on the back of that to help control some of it. Does have a belt. It actually came with a spare belt, the quick change tool, and a small toolkit in there. Some Plexus in there for cleaning the windshield, and a microfiber. That is the driest, safest place for that. CR Cardos. I got one hanging out here. I'll go into those in another video. Those are absolutely awesome. I don't see a lot of people use them for side-by-sides. I really think they're great for it. And people just don't understand how good their range really gets to be in a group. It actually extends. I'll go into that in another video of our review of those and how they operate. So the roof, it originally had a flat roof. I wasn't a big fan of it. It was perfectly flat sheet metal, and it had a box underneath that had the speakers in them, and it did have some stereo equipment and whatever else in it. Wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't like the looks of the car. I'm 6'2". My head came very, very close in here to hitting the bottom of the speakers, and I always assumed if anything silly happened that it was going to be on me and my head bouncing off a speaker. We settled on a plan. I got rid of my roof. I have Bluetooth audio through my headset, which is also Ear Pro, and also communications. So that was a one-stop shop for all that. Best thing about these that we discovered, and you'll see these in our videos, when we're out of the car, we can still talk to each other like normal people. There's no hand signals, there's no guessing or anything else.
So that's just a little glimpse into Aspen Off-Road and our first machine. Like I said, we're going to be doing another video with Aspen 2.5 and Bill. So a little bit about the goals for this channel. Bill and I both work very high-stress jobs as a regular 9-to-5 thing. This was perfect for us to be able to get out and enjoy life, be away from people, be back to nature. We're both very kind of woodsy, sort of outdoors people, and this sort of off-roading solution where we get to go out there and tear it up a little bit, push ourselves some, push the machine some, has just been excellent. These trips are huge stress relievers for us, to be able to go out and just enjoy it without the sort of rules and concerns that generally comes with, I don't know, doing something like muscle cars and having a trailer in, and you can only go to very limited places. Not to say I don't also love that sort of stuff. My background is a mechanic for years, a member of Tropic Zone Racing as a crew member, racing GT1 cars, restoring GT1 cars, building a Corvette race car. Actually saving a Corvette race car would be the fair thing to say about that. I've absolutely loved doing all that. Believe it or not, the side-by-sides and Mavericks are just a little bit cheaper. So we hope to bring you all sorts of stuff from largely the East Coast. One day we might be able to go all the way out to, I don't know, west of the Mississippi. Maybe we'll take a trip west. So far we've made it up to Windrock. That was our first major trip with these that we had to plan. We took 4 days up there. We're very close to Osceola National Forest. You'll be getting plenty of videos from there. We recently went down to Hard Rock Ocala Off-Road Park, and before that we had actually been to Ocala National Forest. The problem with Ocala National Forest, even though it's set up routing wise very well, is it's a lot of washboard roads. Not a lot of water out there. On the straight stretches it's fun. You can get these up to a speed that they're comfortable and you're not getting the crap beat out of you. But when you get into the tight stuff, you got to be on your toes and really paranoid. It's two-way traffic, and the brush is so grown up. We had 3 near hits out there on one trip, just rounding corners that were totally blind at perfectly legitimate national forest speeds, maybe 10-15 miles an hour, and we probably came within I don't know, 5-6 feet of smashing head on into another side-by-side. That was probably not going any faster than we were at the time, just by nature of being invisible to each other. We did have a good trip recently to Hard Rock Ocala. One of those videos is already posted. You can see that. I'll post a link to that video where we're out on their dedicated side-by-side track. It's taken us a while to finally get down there. They were closed over the summer, so we finally made it down there just a couple of weeks ago. And we did enjoy the rest of their rock quarry, what it used to be, limestone quarry. They also let you ride on the former dirt bike track. So plenty of hill climbs, plenty to do in that 100 acres. Probably the most elevation changes that you'll find in any major park in Florida. So we hope that you join us in the future. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see our continuing adventures. I'm going to try to put out videos at least weekly. Also, I'm going to start doing some videos back to my roots of turning wrenches and the mechanical side, technical side of this. So there'll also be some how-to guides. So thanks for joining me. We hope to see you in the future.